Hey guys, hey, it's Bri here coming at you guys. Well, we're gonna be doing something new here. So I'm coming in at you guys with a podcast because I know a few people have been asking me if I would be willing to start a podcast. So I've been listening and I'm now delivering. So if you're coming in at my podcast, The Savvy Wolf, well then welcome and thank you so much for joining. And if you're here on my YouTube channel, well, welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome back or welcome. And thank you guys. With that said, today I want to talk to you guys about adult peer pressure and how we need to stop caving into that adult peer pressure and stop also projecting it out on other people. So when I say adult peer pressure, I'm not talking like drugs and alcohol. No, I'm talking about the adult peer pressure that says we have to have our life figured out by this date, and we have to have this, and we have to have that, and blah, 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 blah. We have to be married and settle down in a 9-to-5 job, no. Holy crap. That actually got me a little bit. So that is what I am actually talking about when I say adult peer pressure. So with that said, let's get to talking.
Have a little bit of faith and a little bit of hope. If you're listening to this, just know that I believe in you.
So we've all been there, right? We've all had our moments where we're kind of, maybe we were sitting there thinking, oh, I don't have my life figured out, or I don't understand this, or what about this, or I don't have this yet, or the grass is greener over there. We've all been there. We've also had it pushed on us also. And that's something that has to come to an end. We have got to stop pushing our own ideas, hopes, and goals on other people, and we have to stop receiving our other people's hopes and goals. So for example, a lot of people think that you have to have this 9-to-5 job. Well, if 2020 has taught us anything, it's that those 9-to-5 jobs are not going to take care of us. They have been letting people go when a pandemic comes through or something happens, and a lot of them are actually closing, or they switched over to working from home, which is wonderful and great. But a lot of people have been trying to figure out what it is that they can do from home that is completely and totally different. Like, you've had to step outside of your box, so to speak. A lot of people are going through awakenings. That 9-to-5 life is no longer working for them, and that is fine. Take, for example, me. I told everybody that I was not going to be married and have kids until I was 30. I'm now 30. I have not gotten married and I do not have kids because I knew that in my soul, in the deepest, darkest parts of my soul, that I was not going to be ready until after I was 30 years old. I knew that, and I fought hand and tooth and nail with so many people telling me that I needed to settle down and get married, when in all reality what I needed to do was go on my own soul path. I needed to go on my own journey in my own direction that was not the same as everybody else. It's not the same, of course, as my mom. My mom got married at a young age and she had us. That wasn't my goal and my hope and my dreams. I actually remember us fighting one time, and I was sitting there and she's just like, I can't, these are just my dreams for you, and I guess they don't matter. And I was like, those are your dreams, and that's great, and that's wonderful, but those aren't mine, and those aren't probably yours. If you're watching this, they may not be yours either, or you know in your deepest, darkest part of your soul that that's not where you want to be. That's not what you want to do, and that's fine. I mean, for one, let's just think about this for a second. How in the higher health are you supposed to marry somebody when you're not even dating? At the time that we had gotten in this fight over this, which was a really ridiculous fight if you think about it, but when we got into this fight, I wasn't dating anybody. I wasn't with anybody. So what was I supposed to do? Go out and say, hey, you look of marriageable age. You look pretty good. You want to get married? You want to have kids? You want to settle down? Let's do this. We all know that that wouldn't have worked. That was in fact going to do something that would have probably rebounded in something disastrous. Sorry, I can't talk apparently, but disastrous. And it would have ended and probably a divorce or something. Now, I'm not saying everybody can't get married at a young age. I know plenty of people who married their high school sweethearts, or who married young and have kids, and they're doing great and wonderful, and I'm super happy for them. I'm talking to the ones that are feeling stressed out right now because they're being told that they don't have their life figured out because they're not following this rule plan. But we no longer fit into this box. We no longer fit into this little circle or pendulum or whatever you want to think of that our parents were in, or their grandparents, or their parents. We're definitely not in the 1800s anymore. A woman's job is no longer to get married and have kids. Like, that's done and over with. We have to stop pushing that on ourselves and feeling stressed. Think about it. Every single time you think about how you don't have your life, quote unquote, life figured out, how many times do you get stressed out? I'm gonna think probably a lot of times. And that's just because it's not supposed to be. You're supposed to go on this journey. You're supposed to travel. You're supposed to start your own business. And that's the next thing. I have been told twice now, yeah, twice, which I think is pretty good. I think we're doing pretty good so far, to get a real job. And I'm using quotes around those because what is a real job? What is a real job anymore? We all of my friends, everybody had all of these 9-to-5 jobs. They had their perfect jobs and stuff. And I was watching as they were getting let go when a pandemic came through. Their employers weren't even willing to take care of them. They weren't willing to figure out a way to help them. Instead, they were worried about themselves and their own family and thinking, oh no, if I keep you on, or I keep paying for you, I pay for you to work from home, I'm gonna lose out on money. And people were making more money on unemployment than they were at these 9-to-5 jobs that were dead end, that were killing them, that they were constantly tired at. And we have hit this area that we can go back to that job that we absolutely hated, that treated us like crap and we were miserable at, or we can move forward and find something else that you would rather do. So again, back to this person, these two people that said you need to get a real job. I asked them what, in their opinion, what a real job was. What does a real job mean to you? Well, for me, I'm a business owner. I own 2 businesses. I own my healing business and I own a store. So I have a quote unquote real job because I sell products, B, I offer services, and I have a YouTube channel. I'm trying to get my blog back up and running. I know I'm gonna have a podcast. You know, I have all of these things where I try to get out and help people. I have mentoring clients, you know, I mentor people. I have all of this stuff. But I asked, you know, this one lady, I asked her what a real job was, and she's like, oh, well, like a bank job or a secretary job. And I was like, that's not for me. For one thing, I didn't go to school for a bank job. I didn't go to school for a secretary job. I have an art degree. So if anything, if I'm gonna use my college degree, it would probably be something in the arts, which guess what? That's kind of what I'm doing anyways. I design jewelry and everything. And so when I kind of showed her, you know, my side of the view and how I own 2 businesses and that is my job, all of a sudden she sat there and she was like, oh, well, I want to do that. And I realized at that moment that those people that are saying, hey, you need to go out and you need to get a real job, some of those people just want to do that, what you are doing. They want to be entrepreneurs. They want to go out and explore. They want to go do something. Our souls are not in a place to just settle down and get married anymore. Like, we want to enjoy life. We need to heal. We need to feel things. We need to really enjoy the moment. And so we need to stop pushing our ideas on people. You know, what you want and the goals and hopes that you have are not the same goals and hopes that this person over here might want. And same with them. They can't keep pushing it onto you. And it's perfectly okay to say the word, no, thank you, that doesn't fit with me. Or, no, you know what, I'm not really feeling that, but thank you anyways. Like, it's okay to do that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I completely and totally understand. A lot of us are feeling pressured. A lot of people have felt pressured to do certain things. I get it. I used to feel extremely pressured. I used to feel like I had to have my entire life figured out. And it wasn't until I was following my own journey and my own path that I realized that things were happening for me, not against me. That it was okay, that I wasn't supposed to settle down and have kids. I wasn't supposed to go and do what everybody else was doing. I really wasn't even supposed to go to college. But I did it anyways. When I was following that path, when I was going to college to be a nurse, and I was following what everybody else wanted me, and I was dating somebody that was cheating on me and treating me like crap because everybody told me, you don't break up, like that's just not what we do in this small town, I was absolutely miserable. I was a shell of a person. And then when I moved clear across the country and I started following my own dreams and I opened up my own businesses and I started helping people and I started using my gifts and I started a YouTube channel and I started being more creative, I started to become happier with every moment that passed. I started noticing a huge change in myself, and I absolutely loved that a whole lot more than following in this line with everybody else. When I stepped outside the line, I found my own happiness. I found my own way. I found healing that I didn't even realize I needed. I found a purpose that fits me 100%. I found my own self. I found who I was. And when we came into this peer pressure, we're putting pressure on people. What's happened is we're not letting that person be themselves. We're not letting ourselves be us, be true to who we are. Nobody is the same person. You're not gonna find somebody that's exactly like you. Even twins have things that they are different. You know, you might have the good twin or the bad twin or the artistic twin and the logical twin. You know, not even twins are 100% the same. There's nobody out there that is going to like everything you like. There's nobody that is going to be the same as you, and there's nobody that is on the same path as you, and there's nobody that's supposed to do the things that you're supposed to do or that you want to do. So why cave into the peer pressure? What's the point? Again, if it's to settle down and get married and have kids, I want to know where that law is, because that's not a law. Like that's just not the way it is anymore. Like we can push that aside. And again, I don't know how you're supposed to do that. If you're single, please tell me how you are supposed to go out, find somebody and tell them, hey, you're of marriageable age. You look good. You want to settle down and have a family and have kids? Let's go. You know, who in their right mind is gonna go like that? Person's probably gonna look at you and be like, desperate? Yes, you have desperate written all over you. So, and the last thing is the grass isn't always greener on the other side either. You never know what's going on in somebody else's life. You never know what's going on in their head. You never know what's happening behind closed doors. You just have no clue. So we have got to stop with the mean comments and the assuming of people's lives. I don't know if you guys know this, but I have gotten into the world of TikTok. And I think that it's kind of fun because I get to be a creative person and I get to help people. But I have noticed that there are some people who will comment some very mean things, or they will judge people, or they will assume something, or they'll just like jump to like a conclusion, and it's not even, you know, I will put things on there. I remember I made a video that I was showing people like what happens when you are an empath before you understand your own gift and how painful you are. And this person was just like, oh, I hope you're okay. Maybe you should get some help. And I was like, wait, if you read the caption, it says, before you understand your gifts. Empaths before you understand your gifts. And then if you watch the full video, I think I posted that one. I can't remember exactly which one they commented on. But the point is that was who I used to be, and I was trying to show an example, and then they jumped to a conclusion and thought that they knew everything about me. And I was just sitting there like, no. And that was actually one of the nicest comments I've seen compared to some others where I've watched videos where people have commented and said some really hateful things. But we've got to stop doing that. We have, like, there's no reason to pick on somebody else. There's no reason, I guess you call it Karen people. I don't know. I don't really like using that saying because I have friends who are Karens and they're actually really nice people. Like, they would never do what these quote unquote Karens do. But the point is that we have got to stop doing that. We got to stop commenting on people's stuff. We got to stop assuming things. For example, I had a mentor and she thought I was copying her. I wasn't copying anything she was doing, but for some reason she responded in a way that was just, it blew out of proportion. She blocked me from all of these things. She like didn't respond. I had reached out to her to make sure she was okay because I knew that she was doing this. And even when she reached out to me 6 months later, it was never to say I'm sorry, it was to blame it on somebody else. And I was sitting here like, huh. And still she was going on and on and on and on and on about that stuff. And there for a while, I felt like she was pushing her ideas on me also. Like I had to fit in this little box that she had. Like, you can only charge this much for a reading, or you shouldn't even be charging for a reading yet, or you shouldn't even be opening your own business yet. Like, I felt like she was putting me in this box also, and I wasn't living up to her expectations, and I could feel the pressure, and it was really pushing on me. And then when she did all of this stuff and it exploded and I cut the ties and stuff, I felt 100% better because I realized that my path was not the same as hers. Just like my path is not the same as my mother's, and it's not the same as my aunt's, and it's not the same as even my mentor now. You know, I work with a shaman. My path and her path, we're two totally different people. Our paths are going to be different. You know, we will support each other 100%, and that's what we should be doing. We should be supporting each other 100%, not pushing against each other, or pushing our views onto each other, or saying you have to do it this way or you have to do it that way. The other thing is I want to point on, especially for those people who have gifts, nobody sees the same. This is one thing that we'll just call her, for sake of better words, my shaman. This is one thing that she has told me many, many different times, because I have always thought that I had to see in a certain way. And I'm talking like seeing with your third eye, seeing your guides, seeing your spirits and stuff like that. I thought you had to see in a certain way. But when she explained it to me that nobody sees the same, I realized that we are all different. We are all have different gifts. We are all here for different reasons. And we are all going to do different wonderful things. But the very first thing we've got to stop doing is putting ourselves in that box and caving into that peer pressure that we have to live a certain way. We have to have this big mansion. You guys, I live in a little cottage house and I freaking love it. In fact, sometimes I think this house is almost too big for Sammy and I, and the cat. I forgot about the cat, sorry. Whoops. She actually, little side note, she does get fixed this week, and I'm so excited because COVID actually made it so she couldn't get fixed, and then it was pushed out another 2 months, but she's finally getting fixed. I'm so excited for that. But the point is back to what I was saying, we don't have to have these big fancy cars and these big fancy mansions and millions of dollars and all of this stuff. Like, that's no longer like the main point of life. The thing that I love is being able to walk outside my house and work with my flowers in my gardens, being able to go to the Rustic Raven and help other people, being able to have new mentoring clients and help them, being able to create things for my store or find new inventory. That to me makes me happy. Every time somebody purchases something or they hire me for a reading, you know, or something, every time I help a client, I feel a sense of pride in myself, and I feel excited and happy, and I always stop to say thank you, thank you, thank you, no matter where I am or what I'm doing. And I think that right there is more important than putting ourselves in these boxes anymore or caving into this peer pressure. We need to start following our own path. We need to start healing, and we need to start putting into action what it is that we want next. Like I said, 2020 has been the year of lessons, and we are learning so much. And we are going to get to do so many things. You know, I mean, we're not done yet. 2020 is still going, and it's still gonna keep going. We're still going to have a few more lessons this year. Quite a few, actually. But that's okay. It's what we do with those lessons that's gonna matter the most. And again, we have got, please, stop caving into peer pressure. And stop allowing ourselves to put peer pressure onto other people. Stop putting the pressure on people and stop taking the pressure. And I feel like when we do that, this huge stress will come off of our shoulders and we'll start to feel a little bit better. So anyways, you guys, I hope that you really enjoyed either this podcast or this video. Thank you guys so much for joining. I absolutely appreciate every single one of you guys, and I hope that you follow your own dreams, your own hopes and goals, and your journey, your healing journey. Stop letting the peer pressure get to you and just enjoy life. Go do what it is that you want to do. Find your purpose. Find what it is that you want. And with that said, you guys, I love you guys. Bye.